part of the post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework, there are certain areas where they have introduced text which is related to technology transfer, and there are other sections or targets that specifically deal with biotechnology and, of course, technology transfer. And for us who have been following the biotechnology discussions, biosafety and biotechnology discussions under the CBD for the past few years, we have seen, the tendency of language that promotes biotechnology, new technologies such as synthetic biology, gene drives, and we have to be very cautious of this language in the text. And so we have been, as part of also, ACB was part of the synthetic biology working group, where we have advocated for text around technology, horizon scanning, monitoring, and technology assessment. And also, whenever we see text around technology transfer, we advocate for the safe and appropriate transfer of technology to ensure that whatever technologies are proposed for transfer for developing countries, that they are safe and appropriate, and that the necessary assessments are done to ensure that there is less risk to humans and to the environment. Now, the challenge with the kind of technology that is being advocated for, particularly for developing countries, is not necessarily good technology. Some of it has, particularly is related to genetic engineering, and we've seen the failure of genetic engineering in countries like Burkina Faso with regards to BT cotton. We are seeing new technologies around synthetic biology and gene editing, which are come to solve the very problems that the first generation GM technologies have brought about in the past 20 years in Africa. And these are false solutions because they don't really deal with the real solutions. They don't really address the real solutions and the challenges that Africa is facing, whether in health or in agriculture. So we are also very conscious. The tendency of technology transfer isn't in good faith, but it is to serve a certain interest, corporate interest in this space. Some of the African governments that we have spoken to have understood the threats of having technology that is not safe and appropriate for Africa. For example, the genetic engineering. They're also very worried about issues around gene drives and GM mosquitoes. But the African group, there are governments which are also pro biotech. For example, in South Africa is a huge biotechnology country, and they've been cultivating GMOs for the past 20 years. So there's also there's a divide within the group, where some of them advocating for biotechnology GMOs, but others are very cautious around the technology and would like to see language around horizon scanning, monitoring, assessment, and all that. Over the years, we've seen also the capture of our African governments by the biotech industry. We've seen institutions set up by USAID. We've seen institutions set up by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We've seen our own scientists and researchers captured and even sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So in essence, what the pro-biotech industry has been doing over the years is capturing these spaces, and that is why even the decisions of the African governments have changed. The other thing is that the negotiators who put in a strong fought for a strong biosafety framework at the international level, that is the Cartagena Protocol on Biosafety, and even at the national levels, some of them are no longer present in these meetings, and we've seen new and emerging negotiators who have no history of the struggles and the fights that African negotiators put, and also some of these have also been captured by the likes of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and USAID. We are saying that we are not against technology per se. What we are trying to do here is to urge that you are aware of the false solutions, particularly for being advocated by the pro-biotech industry to solve challenges on health and agriculture. We urge you to protect the rights of smallholder farmers, of indigenous people and local communities. And in protecting these rights, you have to ensure that you uphold the precautionary principle. You ensure that there's technology horizon scanning, monitoring and assessment, and that the kind of technologies that we, Africa accepts is safe and appropriate for its people and for nature.